friends, I'm happy as usual. I I'm taping again. I'm doing a new program, a new broadcast for this coming Friday, and you can listen to this broadcast through the courtesy of Truth Be Told Radio Network. Just remember that every Friday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you're going to be able to communicate with me, and I'm going to have the chance to go to your home, to your car, to your workplace, and talk about you and your health. Also, remember that we're going to be present if you go to Spotify and search for Truth Be Told Radio Network. And you're going to have access to over 100 hours of programming like this that I hope you find interesting, important, and worth your while, because I do it from the bottom of my heart because I want to help you. We're also available in the social media of your choice: Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, you name it. I have lost count of how many there are. So we're going to be able to get to you any way we can. Please follow us. Please become a follower, and please share this information with anybody. Now, today, we're going to talk about something different, but like usual, related. And, you know, I search all the time. I'm always looking for options. I'm talking to people across the world, actually. I have friends in Japan or in Europe or Germany specifically, or many places. And lately, I have been talking to people that come from the Eastern Bloc of Europe. I have been talking to people that come from Iceland, and of course, recreating our roots with Cancer Control Society in Tokyo, Japan. And they're very active and they're a very good network because there's always something new to learn. And also, in this time and age, the information available is huge, is, I mean, tremendous. It used to be that it took me, what, I would have to take a bus to the to a large hospital in Mexico City, and that would take me close to an hour, and get there, and then take the elevator to the fourth floor, and then go through all these little carts that had the different medical articles that have arrived to the library, and then choose the ones that I wanted, and then fill out a paper, bring it to a desk, and those people were looking for the actual article and requested from God knows where, because it arrived to the reading room through an elevator. And then they would call you and say, here's the article you want to read. And you couldn't request more than two journals at a time. So it could be the Journal of the American Medical Association, could be you name it, anyone. And then read the couple of articles you had on your hand, and it might be that one of them was not what you expected, one might be very good, and you could be lucky and the two of them were very good, and then you got few more data you wanted to research, and then went back to the desk, returned those magazines, and then say, now I need two more. You, you got it. It took me full time to do this. I would leave home, let's say about 2 o'clock, right after lunch, and I will get back home 10 o'clock at night. It was a long endeavor to read probably 8 medical journals. Today, I can search and get 100 journals at the tip of my fingers, literally, in 2 minutes. And then I can choose what I can read. And then I can realize that, no, this is not what I want. This is absolutely great, and so on. So I do that every day. I do that every day because I like to see what's going on, and uh, what the research is telling us, in what direction medical care is going, what's afflicting us, what is seems to be the problem. And every time I do this, well, I usually get good information that for me, as a medical practitioner, because I come to the hospital every day, I work with my patients every day, I see people, I relate to them, I talk to them, I explore them, I check their x rays, their laboratory information. I do it every day. But the more I know, the better off I'm going to be. That's one of the things that if you're older, you will know your experience is worth a lot. Because sometimes just by looking at something, you know what that is. And you know how you can solve that problem. Or at least you have a very good idea what direction to take. Well, in reading all these articles, I was kind of assaulted with information, one article, second, third, fourth, fifth, you name it, 20, 25, 30. And they are talking of different diseases. One is talking about cancer, the other one is talking about diabetes, the other one about gangrene, the other one about infectious diseases, etc. And they seem to be like unrelated conditions. Yet, a lot of them, most of them, would touch on what we eat. And that to me is very important because this is something that I have known ever since I was a kid, because I was fortunate enough to grow up in a family that was very conscientious about food. My father was an accountant, but I don't know how he had this instinctive knowledge in what people should be eating. Probably got it from his mother, which was very much the same way. But I remember my father looking at the table, those old fashioned families where your father sits at the head of the table, looks at everything, and the kids have to say, "Hi, Dad, how are you doing?" And he would ask questions, how your day was, etc. But he would look at the table and he would tell my mother, "I don't want you to do this very frequent because this is not good for the children. The children should be eating more of this, more of that." And really, without being a cook, I never saw him cooking anything, not even getting hot water. Uh, Still, he was very conscientious about what should come to the table because the children need to be eating in certain way. So it's really in my upbringing. It's very much in myself. But when I look at all this overwhelming evidence, you say, why food is in this article about cancer? Why food is in this article about diabetes? Why this article is in this other article about asthma or allergic reactions? Why food is in here? It's actually everywhere. And then you say, I have to reflect on this information. I have to think what is about it that makes it so important. Because if I don't, I'm going to miss very big in the chances of me and my family being healthy, have good performance, have longevity, etc. I'm depriving my family from a golden opportunity to be healthier. So, what do I have to do? I have to make sure that I'm going to be working for this every day, every meal, every chance I have to make a choice. So, choosing well is very important. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. But I want you to reflect on the fact that different illnesses, some of which are the most deadly of our time, like cancer or diabetes or heart disease and vascular disease, which are the big killers, can be modified, can be prevented And most importantly, if we happen to have any of those conditions, we're not going to go too far unless we make those changes. Because medication can only go to a certain point and will not go beyond unless we help. And this is the other important part of the message. We have to help. We have to be part of our health team. Because if we don't do it, we're not going to go where we want to be. That's why I want you to get your family together. I want you to go to your friends, to your co-workers or church members and say, I think we have to sit and listen to this message because it could change our life for better. There is a county in the United States that decided to lose weight, and the mayor just pushed big on this endeavor. And then he talked to a lot of people. And then he even hired nutritional advisors to go to homes and discuss with people, and everybody would be pitching in. And they would be uh, posting the number of pounds the whole town was losing every day. That's a good thing. You can go to your church, you can go to your factory, you can go to your workplace, you can look at your family and friends and say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to create a team for good health, good eating, and simply function very well. So let's go ahead and do it. And please, once again, listen to this broadcast at Truth Be Told Radio Network. Go to Spotify and search for Truth Be Told Radio Network and look for me and follow me on the social media of your choice. I'll be with you. Don't go anywhere. My friends, I'm back as promised. It's my privilege to be able to get to you, to be able to communicate with you, and I'm absolutely grateful of you welcoming to your home, to your workplace, to your car. I'm absolutely grateful. Believe me. I say it very humbly. I'm very, very happy that you allow me to get into your life and deliver a message that really comes from the bottom of my heart, because I'm always in search for better health. I'm a doctor. I see patients every day. I deal with disease, yet I don't like it. And what bothers me most is that many times I talk to a patient, I see a patient with a big problem, and I say, I wish I would have met this person 5 years ago. I wish I would have met him 10 years before, because I know I could have made a big change. Now we are where we are, because I also hate the doctor that says, oh, you should have done this, you should. That to me is not valid. What we have to do is we have to start from wherever at whatever point we are in. Let's be realistic. So I wish I would have met you before, but now I know I have to start acting on what our plan is going to be. So, said that, let's talk a little bit about why all this is so important. Why this is a dire message that we have to listen to. And this is because we want to make a change. As I tell you, I'm in search of better health all the time. I know I can prevent disease. I know because the Center for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta is telling me that yes, this is possible in about 40% of the most deadly disease. Cancer and heart, and vascular and kidney and high blood pressure, etc. So if I can prevent those diseases, why cannot I use all those methods to manage disease? And as a doctor, when I started going from medical school to real practice, I always saw that what I was taught in medical school was not enough. I mean, to write a prescription, give it to the patient, send him to the pharmacy, the patient takes the drug or whatever you are prescribing, and he comes back and he tells you, yeah, I'm doing better, I'm feeling better, etc. But many times that's not the case. And what's very disappointing to me, very disappointing, is that once you start on this route, you will have to take medication forever. It goes to the last day you live. That's why I like to ask people to do the changes beforehand. Let me give you a very practical example. You're in your late 40s. You're in your 50s. You feel great, don't you? You look great. You have a fantastic professional life. You have a very nice family. You have your children going up, possibly beginning to go to university. You and your wife are very happy, very satisfied with your life. Everything is going well for you. Now, have you ever thought that that could change in a minute? That it doesn't take too much to change all that well-being, all that happiness, all that joy into something very somber, very sad. Why is that? Well, what happens if going to work you have a heart attack? What happens if your wife all of a sudden has a terrible problem because her blood pressure is very high and she has to go to the hospital, she has to go to emergency room? You know what's going to happen? That your bright, beautiful life is going to turn very somber. And God forbid that either of you die. You don't want that to happen. So you're in your late 40s, you're in your 50s, you're doing very well. Why don't you stop and think, I have to do better than what I'm doing? And for that is what we're talking. Because you're planning a vacation. You have been saving money, time, because you want to go on a nice vacation. You deserve it, no question about it. Why don't you turn that vacation into a big investment? What is that? That is, I'm going to use that time, let's say 10 days, 2 weeks, 1 week, in going to BioCare Hospital. Why to BioCare Hospital? Because if you go to a regular hospital, they're going to get you out. You're going to say, I come here because I want to be checked, I want to do lifestyle changes, because I want to start supplementation, because I want to make sure I'm healthy, and more importantly, I want to make sure I will continue to be healthy and performing for unlimited length of time. Well, that doesn't fly. That will not fly in a typical hospital. They're going to tell you, no, we're here to take care of sick people. We're not here to prevent illnesses. We're here because we're dealing with very acute cases, with very dramatic cases. We don't have time for that. You see, so if you have a car accident, if you have a heart attack, if you go unconscious, if you fall somewhere and break something, yes, welcome. And we're good at that. And they're very good at that. But if you're in your 50s and you want to be healthy and continue to be healthy, that's the time to BioCare. The word says it. It's time to BioCare. And when you choose to BioCare, then everything is going to be possible. Because when you choose to BioCare, you go to a place where you're going to be very well examined, and I mean clinically and laboratory and every way possible, to make sure that, number one, you're healthy. Number one, what could be the early warning symptoms or signs that something could be wrong or could go wrong in the future. And that's the time to make the corrections. That's the time where everything you're going to do is going to be inexpensive, simple, but the most important thing is going to be very effective. So I know many people say, okay, but doctor, I was planning to go on a cruise. Well, that's the amount of money you're going to spend if you go to BioCare Hospital. The difference is you're going to be gaining weight, you're going to be getting more inflammatory problems, you're going to booze, you're going to gamble, you're going to do a lot of things that deep in your heart might be fun, but they're not necessarily good. And you don't have to go to the hospital to BioCare every time you have a vacation. You could have one of these, one of that. Furthermore, if you BioCare your life, you'll know how to handle that cruise ship. You'll know what to choose in that cruise ship. And you know something good? Those people are there to cater to your taste and likes, and they will make an effort to fulfill the needs that now have to be fulfilled. They will cater to your new dietary, to your new lifestyle, to everything. And then in the future, you can have your cake and eat it too. Because you're coming to BioCare. But once you choose to BioCare, once you do that a couple of weeks, 10 days treatment, you're going to go on your future vacations on a cruise ship, but now you know how to handle it. Now you have a lot of information. Now you know what to ask for. Now you can handle the cruise ship beforehand online and say, look, I'm into this. I'd like you to provide this. And you're going to see that they're going to be very happy. They're going to be delighted. You know why? Because they want to see you in that boat over and over and over again. And the healthier you are, let me tell you something, the less money you're going to cost them. Because you drink less, because you eat less, and because you choose for foods that actually are less expensive. I mean, when you have a big piece of steak, you're going to spend a lot more money for them than when you choose fish and a salad. And you can have, let's say, yes, you can have a steak. I don't have anything against what you have to eat. I only know that I have to choose better. I have to be more careful about what I do and what I don't do. And that is exactly the message. The message is I have to sit at the table. I have to be with my friends. I want to be with the people I love. Have to be with my family. And say, let's talk about this. And you're going to see that everybody is going to be pitching it. Even children are going to tell you, hey, Dad, why don't I have an apple instead of a candy? That would be a good way to start. So let's go to the pantry and get rid of what shouldn't be in our body, which, by the way, that was one of the beginnings of this quest that town in the United States did when they decided to eat better and lose weight as a whole town. One of the things they did is have these nutritional advisors go into homes, go to the pantry, through the fridge and say, you cannot eat this, you shouldn't have that. So that is the message. That is the message that I want to deliver. That is the message that I want you to keep in mind. Go to my website, go to my social media, go to Facebook or Instagram, you name it, and follow me. And get the message and share the message. Because everything I talk about is about you, your well-being, and your health. So stay with me. I have more things to tell you. My friends, today I'm talking about a very important message. Today I'm talking about one very important thing. I'm talking about cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, metabolic syndrome, overweight, obesity. I'm talking about deadly conditions. And I'm not saying it lightly. All the conditions that I have mentioned can cost your life. And they're going to be a big help in making it shorter and with a lot more suffering and expense than a healthy, long life. That's what I'm talking about. And when you go through the literature, when you go through all the medical research that there is around, the overwhelming evidence is that it is about what we eat. That's what it is about. And everything tells me that the culprit of all these diseases is connected to what I bring to my table. But you see, it sounds like a bad news. And that's exactly what I don't want to tell you. I'm not here to give you bad news. That's not my idea. That's not what I want. All I have told you sounds terrible. But if we stop to think just a little bit, and you say, well, doctor, you say all these deadly diseases are connected to what I bring to my table. That sounds bad. That sounds evil. Well, not so. Because if you think for a half a second about it, yes, if your food is the culprit of my problems, is going to be food my savior? And the answer is yes. That's the positive message. Thy food will be thy medicine. That's what Greeks used to say. That's what Hippocrates used to talk about. That thy food was going to be your savior, your medicine. And what we're doing today, and every day we do it, is we're turning our food in a poison. We're turning our food, and I'm not going to even call it food, because when you talk about fast food places, when you talk about certain food places that I can see, I cannot even call that food. We go there to fill up, not to feed. Those places don't care about feeding. Those places don't care about nourishment. Those places don't care about well-being. But you should. Because you're the one that's paying for the food. You work to buy food. You work for your well-being and the well-being of everybody around you. And if you don't do healthy choices, you're not giving people a good thing. You are creating a problem. So, what can I do? What should I do? First of all, knowledge is power. If you don't educate yourself, if you don't become proactive about what you should know, what you should do, then nothing is going to happen. If you keep on doing the same thing every single day, don't expect anything to change. Not only that, every day could be a reduced margin for health and success. And I was telling you that I'm particularly worried about people that in their 40s and 50s, because those people, you already have had your fun. You already had your spring breaks. You already had a lot of things that you enjoyed. Well, good. It's time to change. It's time to move on. And to do that, what we have to do is say, okay, from now on, I'm going to learn. I'm going to educate myself. Where do you begin? At Truth Be Told Radio Network. Search Spotify for Truth Be Told Radio Network and look for Dr. Rodrigo Rodriguez. But you can watch me also on video, on YouTube, in any part of in my website. You can watch it on social media of your choice, Instagram or Twitch or Twitter or anywhere you want. I'm all over. So all you have to do is look for me, search for me, search for Truth Be Told Radio Network, and start becoming serious about it. What I'm talking about is that if you start becoming very actively involved today and you start relating your ideas to those you love, then you can begin getting your program going. And you can say, let's begin with this. You can start making few changes. I'm going to get rid of vegetable oils, which of course they're vegetable because they come from grains. But they're not made of vegetables, they're made of grains. They're grains. And if you have time to search how vegetables oils are obtained, you're going to see that they're not a good idea. They are pro-inflammatory and probably one of the biggest problems in today's nutrition. Same as refined sugar. Refined sugar is definitely a poison. I remember once that I was talking to somebody and telling them, don't have sugar, it's too many calories. And a doctor that I respect a lot said, I wish they were only calories. But they're so damaging to the whole body that you say, refined sugar should be out of our life. That's not for human consumption. If you watch the world, which is something that I do frequently, because I trust God. I trust He provided us with the best He could. He gave us a perfect body and perfect nourishment. But we decided we don't like that nourishment. We decided we want white sugar. There's nothing sweet. In nature, that's white. Honey is brownish. And when you see sugar molasses, when they come out of the sugar cane, they're brownish. And when you look at wheat, which has the flour in it, it is brownish. All that is brownish. Why? Because God put in all these foods chromium. And chromium is what defends you that keeps away the problems when you eat carbohydrates. So I want to tell you something. I want to tell you something, and all you have to do is open the Bible. And when you read the Bible, in the beginning, right in Genesis, you can see that God created all these plants and animals and foods for your nourishment. Then don't make too many changes. Maureen Solomon, who was for many years the director of National Health Federation, she always said, eat food as close as it was created. The least you do to foods, the better off you're going to be. Even if you're going to have a steak, you know you should not overcook it. Because that char, that black part that you develop when you do a barbecue is not good for you. It could be carcinogenic. But if you take your steaks very lightly cooked, if you like rare meats, you're going to be much better off. And the same goes for processed meats, because they contain nitrates and they contain substances known to the medical world that they can be cancer causing. So we don't want to have that type of meat. If we're going to have meat, let's do it rare meats, lightly cooked, and then we can have the pleasure of meat eating at the same time, the pleasure of keeping our good health. So you have to start educating yourself, because that education is going to empower you to say, I know how I can be healthy and eat all the foods I like. So you see, it's not that difficult. It's not hard at all. It's not an impossible job. It's something that if we just reflect on it, think of it, we can begin making healthier choices and be taking care of ourselves. How we're going to take care of ourselves? We're going to BioCare ourselves. In other words, we're going to care our body knowing that we're carrying the life within our body. We're going to be giving life-giving care. So that's the opposite of abusing our body, take advantage of it, and make our body do whatever we want to do just because it's pleasurable. Well, number one, let's redefine what's pleasurable and what is not. But to me, pleasurable is be able to walk out of the door of my house and watch my garden and listen to birds and see how the plants are flourishing and get my mower and work on my house and work with my family and enjoy everybody on a Sunday brunch. That to me is pleasurable. But going to a place where I'm going to sleep, going to be playing all night long and drinking alcohol and smoking tobacco, that is going to cost me a lot. So don't go anywhere. Because as you can see, there's a lot to do and a lot to learn. I am Dr. Rodrigo Rodriguez. I'm the medical director of BioCare Hospital and Wellness Center. And I'm coming to you through the courtesy of Truth Be Told Radio Network. I'm really grateful that they allow us, and not only allow us, but are the channel that brings me to your home, to your car, just being able to reach you and deliver a message that to me is important and to me can really make a big change in your life. Being a doctor, you have to go through a lot of suffering, a lot of human suffering. The cost of being sick goes beyond dollars and cents. It takes away the joy of your life. I have referred to the fact that you might be 40s, 50s, having a lot of fun, great job, looking for retirement, what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, making your plans, your children already at the university. And all these things can change in a minute because you lost your health. Well, that's the time to make the important changes of your life. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what I want you to know about. I want you to have the information that's going to empower you to make the changes you have to do, you need to do to continue to be healthy. Not only that, if you are already sick, this could be also very important. If we have a health problem, let's say you say, doctor, you're talking about prevention, you're talking about this, I understand it, I have over 40% chances of preventing deadly diseases or important diseases just by taking care of myself, lifestyle changes, etc. Fine, but I already am sick. I already had a heart attack. I already have cancer. I already have a person I love with Alzheimer's. I have already a person that has high blood pressure and suffering through the consequences, not only of the disease, but the therapy itself. Because in many cases, not only the disease is the burden, but also the medication that we take. So much that sometimes we have to take medication to fight the side effects of the medication we're taking. And the worst part is the doctor tells me I have to take this till the day I die, because there's not going to be any help for me from a different direction. So to me, talking about prevention sounds a little bit empty at this point. Well, let me tell you something. What if I tell you we can make very positive changes? What are those changes? Let's say I'm telling you that in many cases you have to take medication to fight off the side effects of the medication. But that's because your high blood pressure, your diabetes, your Alzheimer's, your whatever we're talking about, all of them are chronic inflammatory degenerative diseases. That's why I put them on the same tray, under the same perspective. What if I tell you that the side effects of these medications that need another medication, what if I told you that by making the changes I'm talking about, you are going to surely reduce the amount of medication you need to control your disease? You're taking so many pills for your high blood pressure. You're taking so many units for your diabetes. You're taking so many things for your heart or vascular disease. What if I told you that by changing your lifestyle, you're not going to need this, you're going to need this? And that in itself is going to be a big relief. Number one, you're going to be buying less drugs, so it's less money. Number two, you're not going to need the secondary drugs. Number three, you're going to feel better because you're beginning to function better. And I have many patients, I have had many patients that tell me, I went back for my checkup and my doctor said, oh my God, I now have to reduce in half the amount of pills I'm giving you because you're doing very well. I think something has happened and something must be working. And of course, he's not going to blame it on your food. He's going to blame it on your BioCare. He's going to blame it on, what I gave you is working a lot better now. So I'm very happy I prescribed this. Little did he knows that you are taking care of yourself. You are BioCaring yourself. Well, that's what BioCare is all about. That's what we're talking about. That's why I want to entice you, to convince you that you have to invest some of your time, some of your money in serious BioCare. I was telling you, if you're planning a cruise, why don't you do it at BioCare Hospital? I'm telling you that if you have had a heart disease, or you have diabetes, or you have high blood pressure, why don't you spend 10 days, 2 weeks at BioCare and kickstart the whole program and start targeting important nutritional elements, getting bed rest, working in cleansing and detoxifying your body, working on a better food and better food planning, and learning not only what I should eat, but also how do you prepare it. And the most important thing, because our patients rave about our food. How can I have a healthy food that's very palatable, very good looking, food that I could bring to a banquet if I were receiving friends at home? Because I could be feeding him fantastic things that are going to be also very healthy. And then you become a preacher. You become somebody that's going to be telling people about how you can conquer and how you can improve your health. That's what I'm talking about. And that is what BioCare programs offer you. And once you choose to BioCare, everything is possible. You can improve your personal health. You can improve the health of others, but you can do it in a very serious way to kickstart the whole process. You're going to come to a hospital, you're going to be thoroughly examined, thoroughly tested, with many tests that are not even currently done, because we're going to be examining your immune system, we're going to be examining your circulatory system in a different way. We're going to look at the metabolic conditions of your circulatory system to make sure your blood flows. Remember that life is in the blood. If the blood doesn't flow freely, you're not going to be healthy. You're going to be looking at diseases in the future. And I have told you, it goes beyond money. It is a lot of suffering. So I don't want you to be there. But if you're there, I know you can improve a lot. I know you can take less medication. I know you can enjoy life again. And I have had many patients that tell me, Doctor, I went back and people couldn't believe how well I performed. I felt like going out with the children. I felt like going out for a dinner or for a family gathering, and everybody was delighted to see me and to see how well I was. That's what we're talking about. And all you have to do is trust BioCare and say, I'm going to bring myself or the person I love for a 10-day, 2-week BioCare health getaway. And if I do that, I know I can change the way I live, the way my loved one lives. And everybody is going to be happy. This is absolutely a win-win situation. You're going to be very happy. I'm very happy. Because what really makes my day every day is, I always tell everybody around me, you know what makes my day? A big smile. A big, honest smile of someone that I encounter at the hospital or at the dining room, or getting in the car because they finished their program and say, Doctor, can I give you a hug? Doctor, how can I thank you? Doctor, I always say, you don't have to thank me. Your smile is my pay. That big, bright smile. And I want you to bring it back home. I want you to show it to everybody. I want you to go and tell the world that you feel better, that you're doing better with vitamins, with supplements, with a good diet, with cleansing, with work on the intestinal flora, that I haven't talked too much about it, but it's fundamental for well-being and health because it is going to help us to produce important brain chemicals like dopamine, like serotonin, substances that keep our brains in good mood, in good function, emotionally sound, and also help us to have good sleep and good recovery. And all of them are produced in the intestinal tract by the intestinal flora. So we work on all those aspects. So day by day, you can feel the difference. I now, thank God to smartphones, now I tell my patients, I want you to do something. Every morning, get a selfie and then follow it. And you're going to see the change. You don't have to believe me. I don't have to tell you you look great. You can see it by on your own. And you can be sending all these pictures to your family. You can get a group with your WhatsApp and send them everyday looks. And yes, you're going to see changes in as little as 72 hours. But they're going to continue to improve. They're going to continue to go on. And when you go home and you decide to BioCare, not only you will continue improving, but everybody around you will continue to improve. So let's do that. What about it? Let's do that and let's just say we want to BioCare. We want to be healthy. We want to function well. And if I have a health problem, I know I can improve. I know I can get better. I know there are many things I can do for myself. So I'm going to do them. I'm Dr. Rodrigo Rodriguez. Please follow me and we'll be in touch again.